Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm here with Boston-born actress Rachel Bailit, who started her career as a broadcast journalist. After she directed and produced a film on volunteerism for the Clinton-Gore campaign, she moved to Los Angeles to concentrate on acting. Rachel's trained at the Lee Strasberg Institute, in the classics, and with improvisational groups. You've seen her on stage, in film, and on TV, and she's also appeared in a lot of commercials. Were they fun?
Fun, humiliating.
Oh, yes, commercial work for you?
Yes, I've had some rather interesting commercials, including chasing chicken McNuggets down the beach. And
oh, you have big national commercials, right?
yeah, the big ones.
So did you start with commercials, or did you start TV, stage?
I started with a combination of commercials and television at the same time. I mean, I came to Los Angeles and I wanted to get my feet wet in anything that I could. Commercials seem to be the easiest thing for an actor to get going in.
Is it?
Yeah.
But it seems like it would be hard. I know actors always do commercials, but it seems like it would be hard because you're up against normal people who don't want to be actors.
This is true. But if you have a particular look, which is unusual, then you have a niche right there. And so I think when I came to Los Angeles, I was quite the character.
You were like what niche?
Like I really worked it. You know, I was just really quirky. I used to wear this little funny hat, and I was, you know, put on glasses, and I would do anything
to get
just sort of be unusual. And you know, I pulled it back a little now. But I think in the beginning, I would go to these commercial auditions, and I would go all out. You know, I'd book one as Bo Derek doing the braids in my hair, or whatever it took. I would prepare for it.
Did you need an agent, or is
yes.
that? Oh, you do. You still need an agent because you can show up, can't you?
Oh, they don't like it.
Oh, they.
They don't like it if you crash auditions.
Oh, I see. So you had an agent, and you still went for your quirky look.
Still went for my quirky look.
I see. Did you take broadcast journalism you went to American University?
I did. I had a wonderful opportunity there, and it's a great school because you're right, you know, outside of DC, and so you can get these wonderful internships. And
is that how the Gore Clinton thing came about? Out of that school?
That didn't really have anything to do with the school. I was so moved by that. It was the re-election campaign, and I was very moved, and I really wanted them to win. And so I came up with this idea. I was working in a volunteer office, and I was so inspired by all these people that were giving their time for free, and they were so passionate about their causes. So I just got a camera and started shooting and interviewing people.
Oh, you did? How long was that piece?
The piece was about 15 minutes.
Well, that's pretty good.
Right.
And you wrote it?
And I wrote it. I had a little help, technical help, but most of it I did myself, and I would basically go to campaign events, and sometimes I had to disguise myself and pretend I was like with the opposite camp. You couldn't
wear your quirky hat.
No, not at all.
Your dark glasses.
And I would sneak into events with my camera. I also, during that time, worked the motorcade, and so I got to get as close as I could to the president. I met him a couple times, and it was a very, very rewarding experience.
So do you think that was really good training for your acting?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, actually, it could have been, right?
Politics,
the way you were
acting.
changing.
Yeah, right. I think they share a similar element of how you present yourself.
You were actually directing, though, and producing this thing, so you had to play all those roles.
Yes, it prepared me for what was to come.
And then when you started taking classes, I mean, in acting, it was quite a bit different than broadcast journalism.
You know, I had wanted to be an actress since I was a little girl, and I got swayed by journalism. I don't think I quite had the courage to really claim my career as an actress. So I took this other route, and once I made that film, I said, well, why can't I make a pilot? So after I was done with the Clinton film, I made a pilot, and I realized, oh.
You made a pilot of yourself?
I made a pilot. It's called Rach.
For Rachel.
Yeah. And I did. I made a little TV pilot. We came close to selling it. And
really? Good for you.
Yeah, it's a cute little story.
So you were like really pushing. I mean, you've been like helping your career.
I've always felt like I've had to. I'm not a kind of person to sit back. and wait for things to happen to me. I need to be working on projects, and I always felt like why not? Why can't I? I always felt like everyone has a fair shot in this world.
Right.
Why can't I make something? And that's propelled me my whole career.
Did you come from a big family?
Small family.
Small. So
Small.
Were you always the center of attraction?
No. Well, maybe. I had my bratty years.
The confidence to want to do this and to work hard? Because you have to have confidence and you have to have work ethics.
Work ethics I definitely get from my family. I have a large exterior family. I grew up with 2 brothers, and I would say that it took me a while to gain the kind of confidence I needed to come out to Hollywood, but I do come from an artistic family.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that helps. I mean, I think
helps.
it's in your genes. And then why would you study the classics? Because they're so difficult.
They are. They are.
It is difficult.
It was a personal challenge to myself. And I did so many Shakespeare plays at these theaters in the Valley, and 5 people show up, or I was with the Los Angeles Classical Theater Lab, and it's hard to get audiences in Los Angeles to see classical theater, but to me it was a personal challenge. I felt that I really couldn't call myself an actress unless I studied the classics. So I started with this wonderful teacher at Strasberg, and we worked our way through the Greeks, the Romans,
Oh, that's great.
all the way up through Shakespeare. And now I'm not afraid. You can hand me any kind of material, and I feel like I can take it on.
Well, that's where the improv part comes in, right? Where you can just. But to me, that seems like it could be an reach from the broadcast journalism, having to be able to stand up there and talk.
Right.
So
gave
here
me
you are in
great
improv.
training.
Yeah, so that must have been good.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to go back to reporting now, because now I feel like I even have less fear. And I was very young when I would be thrown in these internships. I'd be at the White House, interviewing senators, and I didn't have the kind of courage that I have now. When you study, to be an actor, you really have to have all the pieces, and improv is an incredibly important one.
It really is. But you were trained. If you're trained in broadcast journalism, now you can go back and be a weather girl.
I could be. That's actually how I started in Boston, as
That's what I was going to ask
meteorologist assistant. I was the weather girl, yeah.
Okay, so did all of these things help you with Sugar Happens?
Yes.
And what is Sugar Happens?
Sugar Happens.
That's why you're here.
Thank you. Sugar Happens is my one-girl show. It's a one-woman show. It's a culmination of 5 years of hard work, and it is the story of my life, the first part of the show based on my life, written by a wonderful Emmy-winning writer, Sherry Coben.
Yes, I saw that. But why is she writing about your life? Why aren't you writing your story?
Well, the funny thing is that I probably will write part 2, but she did the first part because I kind of got tricked into doing the show. I would never have thought I would have been able to do a one-person show when we were introduced, and she was supposed to be writing me some stand-up.
Oh, I see.
And
So it started in a different way.
Someone introduced us who wanted to see me on stage, a producer at Sony, and I said, oh, sure. And she spent a lot of time interviewing me and getting to know all about my life, and then she handed me a full play.
Why was she interviewing you? Just to talk?
Well, the first
just
part
for
of the
the
play
improv part?
It's all about my life. It's all true. It's all about my family, my upbringing, all my my early romantic escapades.
Okay, she writes your story. She has the words that she puts in your mouth about your life. How do you do that?
Well, it's wonderful.
Isn't it right?
It's really wonderful because it's like I have 2 people speaking through me.
Okay.
I have her sarcastic New York, funny, clever voice talking about my life.
And just give us one little example of what.
Anything?
Anything, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. New England Jews aren't like New York Jews. We're more assimilated, more repressed. We eat our bagels, but with the crust cut off.
Is that how?
She gives me these quirky, observations about life through her New York voice, and I'm a Boston girl. And
Right.
the 2 voices together, my optimistic voice and her more mature, sort of funny, cynical voice, together forms this beautiful character, which is me, but also through a slightly different lens.
I see. It's you on one part, but it's somebody else actually talking to you in a way.
In a way.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is you have 2 different endings. You have endings of the future, right?
I do.
How does that happen?
It's a what if. Well, basically, the beginning of the show was I was just playing myself, and after about a year when we were developing it, I said, I really want some more. And she said, well, I don't want to write more about you. Let me come up with something else.
Is that right?
So she gave me 2 what ifs in 20 years.
Oh, that's right. So those are the endings, right? 2 different endings?
Well, you don't really know quite what happens. There are 2 possible endings, and then we threw in 1/3 person at the end, which is sort of the ending that everybody wants, the movie star. And so you're left leaving the play really thinking about your life and really what makes you happy.
So you've become the movie star in 20 years that you're working on. But then what's the other ending?
We've got a housewife.
Oh, yes, of course.
Bit depressed, who gets everything she says she wants. And then we have the character who I feel is the happiest, the lounge singer.
And that's you? That's what you like? Are
She
you
talks
a singer?
like this. Her name's Rachel B. And she's another version of me who just went with exactly what she wanted to do, and she's free with her life. So you really wonder in the end, and I do sort of tell you in the end what's really important. And basically it's appreciating life.
Phil Romuno.
Wonderful.
Your director.
Yeah.
How does he move you around the stage? What do you do?
Well,
Because a one-person play is hard to
It is.
keep the audience's attention.
I don't stop moving. I do
That's-
4 changes on stage. I have a shower curtain. I do all my changes on stage, and 4 wigs, 4 chairs, and you know,
I
I'm
love
on the
it.
go all the time. I don't stop. It's once you start watching the show, it's like a roller coaster ride.
I love it. Is there music, lights?
There's music. I sing.